And we are on air.
Hi guys, my name is Brianna and today I'm going to be teaching you how to solve the white face of the Rubik's Cube. Not the whole thing, I thought that would be too long of a video, so I'm going to break it into parts. I don't know how close together all the parts will be, so it might be a long time before you get the next part of this series, but hopefully I could slowly start to teach you guys, because it took me quite a while to learn and actually remember how to learn, because I had the ability to solve it a really long time ago, but memorizing every single step and keeping that memorizing thing long term took me a while. So today we're just going to focus on the white face so that hopefully you guys could start to get the hang of it. The white face is the easiest part of it because you mostly can use logic to follow it rather than any algorithms or things you have to figure out. It's pretty simple. So the only thing you have to remember is that you're not just getting this white, you need to make sure the colors are in the correct spots that are on these edges over here. Because this is going to be the white face, but just because you have a white piece here doesn't mean it's the correct white piece. So these middle pieces never move, so everything surrounds them. So we know that this piece right here has to have white on the top and green on the side. And that's the same for these cross pieces. So that's where you start. You want to get all of these cross pieces in. So since I already gave that as an example, let's start with the piece right here. It's got to be white and green. So where's our white and green piece? It's over here. So I'm going to be explaining everything through the way my Rubik's Cube is done because I just messed it up randomly. But if you follow along and get the logic of it, the white face should be simple enough to actually solve once you understand no matter what. So it's not like you have to follow along with me exactly. Later on in learning the Rubik's Cube, it gets a little bit more complicated and I'll explain things a little bit differently then so that you have a better idea. But right now you should get a decent idea. So with the location of this one, it's pretty simple. So first thing that I always say is put the piece in the location you need it in. This is not oriented correctly, but it's in the correct space. So this helps us get an idea of where to start. I didn't need to do that to solve this piece right here, but when you're first learning, it always helps you to get an idea. So since it's oriented incorrectly, all I have to do is flip it. So since this is also the first one I'm doing, I don't have to worry about messing up any other pieces. So all I'm going to do is turn it to the side, turn it down. Now it's oriented correctly with the green, and then I move this so that it lines up with the green and the white. So I will do that again to show you guys. So the piece was originally here. I moved the top so it could line up with here just so you guys could understand logistically. But when I'm actually solving it, I'm going to move back to the side again, bring it down so it lines up with the green, and then bring the piece that's towards me up so that the white lines up here and the green lines up here. Now, solving these other parts of the cross are going to be very similar, but it's going to get trickier as we go on because we don't want to mess up our pieces we've already done. So let's go to the next one. Let's go here. White and red. Our piece is actually already in the correct spot. It's just oriented incorrectly. So we're going to do the same thing we did with this one. Going to go to the side and down, but now before we could twist this up, we need to twist this around so we keep our green correct, and then we can twist this around. Ignore this piece, it's incorrect. As you can see, if I tilt it on the side, it doesn't match up with these two colors, so that's incorrect, so that's not part of it right now. But this piece, we solved it nearly the same way as we solved this one, so I'll show you guys one more time so you could get a better idea. So I twisted it to the side so that I could bring it down so it's lined up with the red. But now we need to put our green back in the correct spot. So we put our green back in the correct spot, and then if we look over here, we twist this up so that our white and our red line up, and now we have this part of our cross. Now let's go on to here. We're gonna need white and blue. So our white and blue piece is actually in the bottom down here. So I'm gonna twist it up so we could have it in the correct spot where we can start to orient it correctly. So again, we're gonna do the same exact thing that we've been doing, but we can't forget that we don't wanna mess up these two pieces. So I'm gonna move it to the side and down so it can be lined up with our blue, but then we're gonna twist this back again so we don't mess up our green or our red. And now that we have that, we have these blues right here lined up. We just twist it to be lined up with our white. And again, ignore both of these corners, they're not correct. But our cross is starting to get correct. See? So now we just have one more in our cross to worry about. So this one's going to be white and orange. So we need to find where our white and orange piece is. It's down here. So again, if we just flip that around, it's in the correct spot, but now we need to orient it correctly. Now, again, we don't want to mess up what we already have done. So when we start, right, we turn it this way and down so it's lined up with our orange. But now we don't want to mess up these, so we got to make sure we twist it back before we just twist this up to line up our white and our orange. So now we have our cross completely correct. See, red to red, blue to blue, orange to orange, and green to green. I hope that that was all very clear. If you guys had any questions on any of the cross part, you could comment them down below. But now we're gonna move on to the corners. Yes, it does appear from the top that these two corners are correct, but if you look on the side, they don't match up with the red, so these are actually not correct, and we're going to have to move them. But we're gonna go back to these ones and start with something that doesn't have white at all so you guys could get a better idea. So let's find a random corner piece that has white. So there's one down here, and if we look, it is white with orange and blue. So we have to find where this corner goes. So I'm gonna hold on to it here so I don't forget where it is. And if we look around the cube, we find the blue center and the orange center here and here. So that means that this corner piece has to go here. So I'm going to put this cube upright and I'm going to twist this so that it's underneath where it needs to go. So you see this is the blue and orange, and this is the blue and orange corner. So we need this to go up here. So now this part seems a bit more complicated, but it's really not once you get the hang of it. It all depends on the orientation of where the white face is, because all we're going to do is bring this down and twist. And if you notice, it's in the right spot, but it's oriented incorrectly. So we need to make sure it's not oriented incorrectly. So what we're going to do, if the white was in a different position, that would work. But because it's not, what we need to do is move the white away. So when we pull down and bring it back, the white is in the correct way. So let me do that again so you guys could see. The orientation of the white right now, it's coming towards us. But the problem is we need it to be coming towards us when this is here. So if we bring it out of the way, its orientation doesn't change when the middle piece is brought down. So let me show you guys again one more time, right? We don't want the orientation of it to change, so we move it out of the way, bring this down, and then move it back. So now when we put the middle piece back where it belongs, this corner piece is with it. And as you can see, it's correct. Orange and blue. Okay, so now let's move on to our next corner piece. Down here, we have a green and red corner piece. So let's find where that's gotta go. Green and red. So it's gotta go here, but it's down here. So we want to, again, bring it underneath the corner it needs to go to. So this white is incorrect because it doesn't match up, but the piece we need to go there is underneath it. Now this one is a little bit trickier. The orientation of this one is on the bottom. So even if we twist it to the side and come down, it's still not correct. If we just do it without moving it, it's also incorrect. So what we need to do is actually do the same type of movement twice. So if we bring down and come here, nope, not the right spot. So we're gonna move it one more time and back up. Now, if we put it underneath again and bring down, it's in the correct spot and it's in the correct orientation. So I'm going to show you guys that one more time so you guys can see. So we have this here, we have our piece underneath, but the orientation's incorrect. So if we come down, doesn't work. So we're going to bring it away one more time so its orientation's correct. Pick this back up, bring it back underneath where it needs to go, bring this down, bring this over so they're lined up, and when we come back up, it's correct. And again, if that was too fast for you, you could rewind and watch it again. I'm trying my best to be as clear as possible, but again, any questions, you guys could comment them down below and I will try my best to answer. So now it looks like most of our top is done, but actually only this corner and this corner are correct. So, because if you look, this does not line up, this does not line up, but these corners do line up correctly. So we're gonna go to one of these corners now. So if we find our next white corner, white has blue and red. So our blue and red is here, blue and red. So we're gonna bring this underneath the corner it needs to go to, right? So now here's our blue and red, and here is where our blue and red corner needs to go. This time, this is the situation with a corner piece that you're gonna have the least amount of steps. The orientation is already correct, so that in a way when I pull this down and then bring it back to line up, it's already correct. And as you can see now, blue and red. So I'm gonna do that for you guys one more time so you could see. When the white is oriented to the side of the cube, all you have to do is bring down this middle white so it's facing you, and then the bottom, you twist it over so that white corner lines up with the middle white, and then you just twist that side back up to line up with the center, and it is correct. That is the least amount of moves you'll ever have to make for a corner piece. But now you've seen all three ways to make a corner piece with the three different orientations. If it's on the side, easiest. If it's on the front, extra step. And if it's on the bottom, you need another extra step. I hope that has been really clear, but now we're gonna have one more time I can show you a corner, because over here we have our orange and green corner, which it needs to go here, which is green and orange. So we put it underneath where it needs to go, right? This is where it needs to go, so this is where we put it. And again, this is the one where it's facing you. So if it's facing you, you move it away, right? Then you bring this down so it's facing you, and then you bring it back, right? So it was facing away from you. Now you bring it back so it's facing you and lined up with the middle piece that's facing you, and then you bring it back up so it's lined up, and it's all correct. So now you can see these strips that are lined up with the white should match up all of them with the middle piece, which you can see is correct for all of them. And there you go. The next step is going to be to do these middle row, but that's going to be its own video, and that is how you solve the white top. Any questions on that, you guys could comment down below. I hope I did a good job explaining and reiterating certain things. There are, of course, algorithms you could follow, but I find that with solving the Rubik's Cube and actually being able to solve it on your own, the best way is to understand it logistically rather than follow an algorithm so that you could actually solve it no matter what. So I'm hoping that the way I explained everything was good and made sense. So yeah, comment down below any questions, and I'm hoping I could come out with the next part in this Rubik's Cube series soon. But for now, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Happy VEDIN, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Mwah!